one of my roles was IT manager. So luckily, just before COVID hit, I've installed upgraded the IT systems where we could work offline. Well, not at the office, but in the cloud. And as COVID hit, it was brought into effect on the right time. In the past, we used to have relationships with our suppliers, but we cannot do that anymore. Times have changed, laws have changed, and we've got to now have proper controls. So policies are the lifeblood of the organization.
Absolutely.
It guides everybody in one direction. Strategy, it guides, the policy guides the purchasing, it guides everything.
Everything, yeah. Hello, everyone. Hey, you know what? It has been a minute, literally a minute. It's been a minute since we last posted a video. It's been a minute since you've seen somebody across our seeds speaking about this wonderful podcast. So viewers, if you do not know what you're watching, you're actually watching INbrief podcast by the Institute of Internal Auditors South Africa, because we are not just auditors that always follow you around. Oh, findings. Oh, we need this. Oh, we need that. Oh, this is what you did. Oh, here's a recommendation. But we're also a podcast that has to educate you about the things that are important, where governance, risk, and control are actually in question. So now, today we have a wonderful guest. His name is Ulrich Maistry. He is the Internal Control and Procurement Manager for the Institute of Internal Auditors South Africa. Now, before we can even speak about him, I'd like us to take a moment to just reminisce about what happened at the conference on the 14th. I think it was the 10th until the 14th or the 13th of August, where we had a wonderful session. Let's reminisce about what happened at the Young Leaders Network in September. Those were great moments indeed. There was so much nuggets of wisdom that we took. And I think the main highlight for me, it was when we honored our very own author of the King's Report. For me, that was great. That was amazing. And there were a lot of things that we also did. And shout out to the Central Region. Congratulations for winning. And the Young Leaders Network for everybody that was involved. Your gift, your Rowan, everybody else that was involved. It was such an amazing, amazing event. Hopefully you will see the pictures, a little bit video here and there, just to see exactly what happened in those particular events. So again, welcome to INbrief podcast. We are excited to be here. It has been a while. It has been a minute. It has been a second. Now, before it's all about me and all about this wonderful podcast that I'm happy to be back on, let us speak to Ulrich. Ulrich, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Yourself?
Are you good?
I'm good.
Can I hear a little bit of laughter?
Okay, I'm sure you will.
As the day goes by, most probably I'll definitely hear your laughter. So Ulrich, tell us more about yourself.
I've been with the Institute of Internal Auditors for 16 years. I've been the admin and infrastructure manager for the last 15 years. So I fill this new role as the procurement and control manager for the last year. It's quite a challenging new position.
Wow.
But yes, the controls are being put together and I'm enjoying it.
I have a lot of questions, like a lot.
Okay.
But before we get there, just a disclaimer, we are recording during the week, right? So we are here at the IIA office in Bedford View. So if you hear some noise, somebody saying, hey, give me that Staples, it's the life of any other office. So don't worry about it, okay? So Ulrich, tell me more about you as a person, because I have a lot of questions with how you started, when you started, what you were doing. Like, how come I don't know you? I've been a member of the IIA for how long? Do you know him? So tell us more about yourself as a person. Are you married? Do you have kids?
Yes, I'm married. I have 4 children.
Oh, lovely. How old are they?
Well, they in their 30s. The youngest is 26, so yeah, grown kids.
So your kids are older than Kabelo, basically?
Yes, basically, yes.
Kabelo, this is your grandfather here. You should call him Dad. We must call you Dad. But how has it been working in the IIA for so long?
It's been awesome. There's been a lot of changes. There's constant movement, meaning change. It's exciting. And yes, as the IIA itself, it's just grown and grown
Yeah.
and grown. So yes, it's very nice.
So how many CEOs have you worked with so far?
4.
Wait, who?
It started with not Claudel,
Before Claudel?
Veronica Dupre,
Yes.
then Claudel, and then Julius, and now
Yo. You know what? So the crazy part about this is that when you're working with different CEOs, like any other leader, there are changes that they come with that are great for the institution. So I can imagine for you that have been around for so long, the changes that you have gone through. But then how did this affect you during COVID? Like,
no, so you see, one of my roles was IT manager. So luckily, just before COVID hit, I've installed upgraded the IT systems where we could work offline. Well, not at the office, but in the cloud. And as COVID hit, it was brought into effect on the right time.
So you predicted the future.
I didn't predict the future. I just wanted to make life easier, but it worked so well.
The timing was crazy.
The timing was crazy. I mean, I completed the project in January, and COVID hit us in February.
And in January, no, we didn't really think we'd go under lockdown, and we didn't even think COVID would come to South Africa.
It was not even a thought. Yes,
wasn't a thought at all.
It was just to make it convenient for staff. That was it, so that you could use any laptop at any place. And yes, we weathered the storm very nicely because we continued working.
In my company, I need to get somebody like you who can predict the future, like a crystal ball. Like, yeah, this is what's going to happen in the next couple of years. But I want to talk, before we talk about your current role, I want to talk about the previous role as an admin and infrastructure, right?
Yes.
What were you doing exactly for the IIA at that time?
Well, it was a very vast role.
Okay.
So HR was one of my responsibilities.
Okay.
Managing and upgrading the building and IT infrastructure. Also managing staff, cleanliness of the building, and managing suppliers, and so on. So it was a very vast role. But the organization was much smaller.
Yes.
So therefore, it wasn't too much of a challenge. I mean, if I had to do it now, I'd be stressing.
So the number of employees then compared to now?
So it was 45 employees then.
Yeah.
But most of them used to work offline. Meaning, not offline, but different remotely.
Yeah.
And at the office, I think there was, 27 to 30 staff members. That's why we had to allocate parking accordingly. And it was a lot more manageable. It wasn't as complicated as it is now. And each manager had a number of staff which they controlled, which made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So it's just I needed to bring everything together, for all the other managers, yes.
So guys, when I keep saying Kabelo is the guy behind the camera, right? So I'm going to refer to him. 16 years ago, I don't know if Kabelo was born or not. What attracted you to IIA?
I used to work for a pharmaceutical company, and in this company, I don't want to talk negatively, but there was a huge amount of people, very huge, and you became a number. When I came for the interview at the institute, I immediately noticed a sense of family, and everybody was responsible for themselves, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I was here for 3 days prior to signing my contract with the institute, and in that 3 days, I really enjoyed being here.
So are you saying that basically what attracted you to IIA is the family?
The sense of family, yes.
Yeah.
And everybody was just very nice, and where I was based before that, you're just a number, and it was very strongly imprinted. So yes, I enjoyed it.
Okay. I almost asked you, okay, so before when you were working at the pharmaceutical company, you came to IIA, you felt the same sense of family home. And I think that's what helps with staff retention, because you're not the first person we've ever interviewed that have worked for IIA for a long time. I remember we interviewed Koli, who's been here for 20 years, I think.
No, I think she's here about a little bit less than that.
15, 16,
I'm here longer than what she is.
And we interviewed Charles, who's been here for a long time.
Charles has been forever, yeah.
So everyone that has been here for a long time, the only thing that would keep an employee loyal to the organization they work in most cases, is a sense of family.
The sense of family and purpose.
Yeah.
So everybody had a purpose, and everybody strived for that growth. And yes, that's why I think most of the people stayed at the IIA.
Okay, so let's go back now, or move forward, or wherever. Do you believe that UFO exists, like aliens?
No, I don't believe that.
So, because like we're hearing a lot of conspiracy theories out there, right?
Yes.
There are aliens, you know. I remember, especially if you watch Netflix, those Korean movies, and they always show them, they are orchestrating our lives and they're watching us laughing.
Yes.
That's the ideology they have. And then you watch documentaries in America, they're saying that, oh, we spotted some balloon flying from somewhere, and then we had something from somewhere. Oh, it must be the aliens. Oh, yes, the aliens. Like, are they the only ones that are thinking like that?
I do believe that. I don't believe if there was aliens that they'll only land in America.
Of all places. But if aliens did exist and one walked through these doors, what would you say to them?
I'd want proof. I'll have to audit the process.
But what other proof do you need? They're here. Okay. And also, I think the ideology of what, you know, the fear of the unknown. You create something when you don't know if it exists or not.
Yes.
What if aliens are like us?
That's interesting. I don't actually have an answer for that because I'm the type of person who needs evidence.
I like what you said. So you're the type of person who needs evidence, which is why you're an internal control and procurement.
Correct. Yes.
Now tell us about that role.
Well, it is. There's a lot of history, and with the history of with the controls that were in place, it's outdated. So with the growth of the company, staff changing, and all that type of thing, it was a bit stagnant, and we trusted a lot of people. But with the new laws coming into play and fraud and all those type of things, we've got to update our systems all the time and get feedback from staff members on what their jobs are, and we've got to create policies with what staff are saying.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to create policies and trying to streamline systems, part of which is cleaning up the old databases, you know, for suppliers and things like that, because we don't know if these suppliers exist anymore.
Yes.
We don't know if they, how can I put it, if there's issues with them, we don't know if the BE certificates are up to date. So we try and streamline the system, and it just creates easier work for everybody and makes people part of it. You know? We've got to look at the functions of the supplier. You know, are they supplying good quality products? Because materials used, for example, might create issues later because things break down.
Yeah.
So we've got to look at the whole system, redo the contracts, and basically clean up the whole database. Yes.
Sure. That sounds like a lot of work. I think we've observed in my career as an auditor before I retired. Yes, I retired. So there was a lot of observations we've had from the outside as members of the institution, and there's significant growth. And the fortunate part, it's not the unfortunate part. The fortunate part about this growth is that it comes from external forces that forces the institution to grow.
That's great.
Otherwise, you remain stagnant and you're not fit for purpose, right? And for a governing body that regulates the most important function in companies, we have to keep up with the times. So I want to speak more about internal controls because you're holding a function that your governing body is safeguarding.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
So from an internal control perspective, so I'll share from our side as entrepreneurs. We, especially for investment purposes, you won't get funding unless if you have controls in place, you have policies in place, and you show them that the reason why you needed them, it shows your investors and the people that are funding or offering a grant that you take hold of your own risks. Because remember, the internal controls exist as a result of the risks that we have.
Yes.
We are responding to the risks. So IIA has changed a lot. I like to believe that there are departments that shift and chopped and changed, you know, and somewhere there Kabelo was born and then he came, we worked here. It's a lot. So now, tell me about the internal control processes that were happening back then, and what's happening now, looking at the different departments that we have.
Okay, so it's a bit challenging asking a question with different departments because we have to centralize the purchasing and the internal controls.
Okay.
And the departments have to accommodate that. It's not us accommodating the departments. So in the past, we used to have relationships with our suppliers. But we cannot do that anymore. Times have changed, laws have changed, and we've got to now have proper controls, proper contracts in place, and service delivery has to be up to standard. And that is the biggest job that I do, is getting that into place.
Take us through the supplier journey.
The supplier journey. Okay. So we engage a supplier, 3 quotes for a specific item.
Okay.
The person that wins the pricing part of it, we would then require BE certification. We would require proof of banking details. We'd require SIPC documentation, SARS documentation, and then we would then go through the process of signing a contract with them, trying to understand what they actually do for the project that we want to accomplish. And we would compare that with the market, and we would do Google searches on the company and see if there's ratings or bad information about the company itself. Only then would the procurement process be complete, and then we'd start using them. I have a tendency to do one test and see the quality that's been delivered versus what we're doing before we actually decide if we're going to actually use this person consistently.
Okay, so speaking of suppliers, let's play a little game.
Okay.
Right, but this game is a little bit more technical. It's not like your pop quiz, it's a little bit of a technical game. The name of the game is Red Flag Bingo. So we're trying to find out what would the potential red flags be in this particular scenario.
Okay.
Right, so let me read it for you. IIA has been working with a trusted supplier for years to provide branded diaries for IIA conferences. A week before the delivery, they inform you of a sudden 20% price increase due to market fluctuations. You try to reach out for a detailed explanation, but your contact person is unresponsive, and emails are going unanswered. As the delivery date approaches, the supplier offers to cut the prices back down. So it's no longer 20% price hike anymore. They're giving to you at the normal price. But only if you extend the contract for another year.
Oh, you do come with difficult red flags, eh? So in that case, I would process the payment.
Really?
Yes, I'd process the payment, but I would then, because the time is run out. You can't get the books from another supplier.
I feel like they're holding you at ransom, hey?
Yes, but I would not renew the contract unless we would see there would be some negotiation and discussions about what had happened. In this scenario that you've just brought up, we are being held ransom.
Yes.
Because we can't do the work without them.
But that's the thing. So this is what I need to understand. You have a supplier, right, that you have a contract with to deliver, let's say, the diaries for conferences. We all know diaries for conferences are important. They're important for branding. We need people to have note keeping and also to refer to something that's branded IIA when they are looking back into the conference of things that they would like to learn. It's an important thing to have.
Yes.
So now, if they are saying 2 days, 3 days before the conference that we are increasing the prices to 20%, what stops IIA from looking for another supplier as and when they say we are increasing the prices by 20%? Can we look for an alternative supplier? Is it allowed?
Yes, definitely it is allowed, and that would be the first approach. I should have said that first.
Yeah.
That would be the first approach if somebody can actually do it in the timelines that we have left. Before, because I would assume that the current supplier with his 20% increase already has printed the diaries.
Yes.
So yes, he might win the small battle, but the war will still come.
So basically, you just process the payment, they deliver the goods, but here's the ransom part. Only if you extend the contract for another year. What a bad way to negotiate.
Yes, that is ransom. Like you said, it's a ransom.
They're holding your ransom.
But we don't have to. It's a normal business transaction. We can't be held ransom to any conditions that a supplier makes. The conditions are actually from the IIA side.
Absolutely. So basically, the client is always right. Even the customer at Spur is always right. So here's another question. IIA has been using Listen to this one. IIA has been using a well-regarded internet service provider for several years. Recently, you've noticed frequent service outages and slower internet speed that interrupts the operations. When you contact the internet service provider to address these issues, they attribute the problem to temporary network upgrades and assure you that services will be restored shortly. However, the next few months, outages become more frequent and the speed issues persist. When you request compensation for the downtime, the internet service provider is hesitant and mentions unforeseen demand spikes as the cause.
Wow, you mentioned that. That's actually a reality.
I'm saying, listen to this. There's no company that does not suffer from this.
Yes. So I had this problem a year ago. And what I did was I put in a backup service from another internet supplier.
But that's the thing. You spend money.
No, not really.
Okay.
Because the backup service was only when we used the service.
Oh.
So
Okay.
So it was a bit of a downtime issue, but there was it's called a failover. So should the one network go down, the other one goes up.
Okay.
So we never have downtime. But yes, it's a cost. But what is the bigger cost? Not being able to service our members, or spending a little bit extra on an internet service.
In the type of organization that IIA is, how important is it to have proper quality internet service? The reason why I'm asking, for e-commerce businesses, it's crucial.
Oh no, it's the lifeblood of the IIA, because our members need to be able to be in contact with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We need to respond and we need to get our work done.
Yeah.
And internet is key. Like I said, we had a backup service going into the cloud. We can't work if our internet service is down.
That's true.
So it's the most important part of our business to make sure that we're connected.
Okay. So now let's talk about policy makeovers. You sound like a person who enjoys drafting. Sitting down with the computers. There's a reason why I retired from auditing. I just don't see myself sitting down drafting reports. That was the most painful experience I ever had. And as a business person, guess what? I draft more policies than when I was an auditor. I sit down drafting stuff, especially when the business is still new. But yeah, what can we do, man? It's the nature of the beast. So in terms of policy makeovers, there are a few things that I want us to talk about. Firstly, the fact that you did mention it all, obviously, that there were certain things that needed to be done. The policies needed to be drafted. We needed to ensure that the institute actually has its hold over its own risk management or risks, right?
Correct.
Now, what's the importance of having these policy makeovers and how often? We're going to use the word makeover. Sometimes you say reviews. Those are the words, what auditors use. But we say a makeover because it needs to respond to the current market trends, which is why the strategies are aligned according to what the market is doing. So now, in terms of policy makeovers, why is it important to have it, and why is it important to have it, and how often do we need to do it?
The policy needs to be updated as much as possible.
Okay.
I can say, we do it every 2 years or 3 years or whatever the case may be, but that's not practical.
It's not realistic, yeah.
It's you've got to draft a policy with a number of items into consideration. Like I said earlier, the laws. You have to consider staff input. So it's a lot of research before you even draft a policy. And the number of policies that needs to be made over is immense. So you do one at a time. But it's very necessary to keep up with trends, keep up with technology. So policies are the lifeblood of the organization.
Absolutely.
It guides everybody in one direction. Strategy, it guides the policy, guides the purchasing, it guides everything.
Everything, yeah.
So I would say maybe once every 5 years it needs to be updated. And that's the best I can say at the moment. Because
But I think also depends on the size of the organization.
oh,
right?
definitely.
Some small organizations might review it once every 5 years, depending on what type of policy it is. For example, if you have an HR policy or payroll policy, the more employees you have, the more you need to change it.
I
The
agree.
more you need to change
I
it.
agree.
So after you're done with the policy makeover, is there a way in which the whole company is trained on it or informed on it?
Yes, the policy first goes to our CEO when we have a discussion about that. Should it pass there, it goes then to the Manco team, who would review the policy and
Yeah.
give a go ahead to go to the audit committee and maybe even the board, which will be brought to brought forward by the CEO.
What's the time frame? It sounds like a 1-year job, that one.
Hopefully it's about a month,
Okay, that's not
but
bad.
that's a month after it's completed.
Okay.
So yes.
So it takes a month to go through all these channels.
No. It takes a month to bring it to Manco.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have to wait for the audit committee when they actually sit.
Yeah.
So it might be in the same month because most of the time I do policy so we can ensure it goes to the audit committee
Yeah.
by a certain time.
Yeah.
And depending from the audit committee, how long it takes to have the next board meeting, it could be the same month, it could be a month later, it could be 2 months later.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it is a long process, and we don't hand over one policy for this. We hand over a number of policies at the same time, so that we don't waste the board's time, and we don't waste the audit committee's time.
Yes.
So when they look through it, they can authorize it immediately. We then, once it's authorized, we then bring it back to staff. We train the staff on that, and we get questions and try and answer the questions as to why we changed it and so on.
So don't you sometimes, like, I know with me, with our company and the companies that I've audited, the main issue that most executives are afraid of or are shying away from where policies and procedures are concerned is the red tape, where we can't function anymore because we have Masego who's like, hey, follow this policy, otherwise it's gonna be on your report as a finding. So aren't you afraid of, like, the institution in general, afraid of red tapes?
Yes, there is red tape. That's why we put controls in. That's the red tape that we put in place.
But we want to jump the red tape sometimes. It's South Africa. Red tapes are made green. In some
But
places.
that's why we internal auditors to make sure that
Yes.
that we don't jump the red tape. But unfortunately, yes, there is red tape, but I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I need the red tape there,
Yeah.
so that I know that nobody's jumping policies.
True.
So I'm happy with that.
Okay. And let's talk about fraud prevention.
It's a difficult subject.
Yeah.
So you know how fraud exists. It's the person that's creating the fraud or doing the fraud that's finding loopholes in your system.
Absolutely.
So we try and prevent as much as we can. Yeah, I touch wood, we've never had an issue like that.
Well, even if we did, what are they going to steal?
Yeah, what are they going to steal?
Pens. What?
But we put in the policies and the procedures, and we make sure they're followed.
Come to think of it, there is something that they can steal.
Like what? Our data?
That, yes. Because remember...
Our data is so secure.
Yes.
I don't know. Yes, there is. I guess there is hackers that can do what they need to do, but it will be very, very difficult. That is our key to everything. So we guard that with our lives.
There There are multiple frauds that occur in different spaces, right? I'll tell you from certain experiences of books I've read. Books. So let's go to the finance department. So the finance department, you have what we call a credit controller, and a credit controller would send out an email to one of our suppliers, right? No, one of our clients or members, let's say IIA members, and say, we have changed our bank accounts, right? Sometimes it's the accountant, sometimes it's the fraudsters. They formulate an email and then they send it to you and they say, we have changed our bank accounts. When you pay your membership, you no longer use this bank account, you use that bank account. The benefit with IIA is that we are working with companies that require a CSD report. So it's not as easy as sending an email.
That's
it's
correct.
not that simple because of majority of the members in the IIA are from the government institution. But you do find finance departments where a credit controller or even a debtors collector who would say, we've changed our bank accounts, please use this one. They've created a company called whatever, right? And then you innocently so you want to pay.
And you pay into the wrong account?
You pay into the wrong account. Alternatively, again, credit controller sends an email to the company that they work in. Basically, they send an email to themselves that this person has changed their bank accounts, right? The supplier has changed their bank accounts. So IIA, don't pay Ozajia Consulting into this account, pay Ozajia Consulting into that account, right? So you keep paying this person and they supply the things that we needed, the diaries, the pens, everything, only to find out that you've been paying your employee all along.
Yes, I have heard of incidents like that.
Books and articles.
The issue is what controls do I have? It's our like I don't want to pass the buck, but it more is our financial operations manager that monitor that type of thing. If it's an email that they're changing bank accounts, we advertise our data, our banking details on our website, and any changes, any communication goes on our website. So it's not
information
that easy.
Is public.
We make information public. There's a lot of transparency. So I don't think it's. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I don't think people that work here would do something like that. We do a lot of research before we even hire somebody.
Yeah.
So yes.
But I want us to educate the people that are watching, be it from audit or not from audit. And I think auditors probably this to them like, we know this. Why are you boring us with such details? We know them. So with regards to procurement, there's a lot, procurement has a lot of fraud, hey?
Yes.
It has a lot of fraud. And one of the issues there is conflict of interest, right?
Yes.
That's the first one. The second issue is having ghost suppliers or having your employees as the suppliers, staging themselves as. Because remember, they have privy to, which is the conflict of interest, they have privy to the information that's within the company. They know what has been demanded the most.
Yes.
Then they create companies and they give you 3 codes, like literally 3 codes. Like, okay, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. Can you please pay this, right? Or these are the services that we provide. And I just want to know, what are the steps that you can take to ensure that this doesn't happen?
Okay, so any employee has to get authorization from their manager.
Okay.
I randomly do checks on suppliers.
Oh, nice.
Well, so it's consistent. I would say random, but it's very consistent. Especially every invoice, I kind of look through the invoices before I authorize payments. So those are the type of steps we do take. And we've also got in our contracts with the suppliers that they need to declare any conflicts of interest. And like I say, when the supplier comes on board, I do the research into the supplier themselves. So not having the BE certificate is already a red flag for me.
Yeah.
I won't process the client if any information is missing whatsoever. And also, like I said, I do research, internet research on the company. So I don't deal with new companies. They've got to have a track record. So that mitigates some of the risk in that.
Funny you mention it. I like sharing stories because I read a lot. I read a lot.
I can see that.
So there's this one particular thing that happened where it's a or how can I put it? It was a RFQ, right? An RFQ that comes, let's say, from IIA. It's an example. IIA issues an RFQ and it sends out a message to certain people. Remember, our data in IIA can be secured, but we can't guarantee that our data in other organizations are secured.
Yes.
Right? Because not every organization understands the reason why we should have cybersecurity and, different measures to secure the data.
Yes.
Somehow, the same way you get a call, this is my way. I want to give you a car code. Where do they get your numbers from? That I got it from Liberty. I'm not even a member of Liberty. How did Liberty get my numbers from? You see, only to find out that probably Liberty got your numbers 5 years ago because they know they can't discard it up until 5 years, as according to Public Act. Then they keep it or they share it or they're lying. We don't know how they get your data. Then you simply get an email that says IIA is looking for lights or cameras or these tables or anything that we have in the room. And then that RFQ says, okay, can you please send us a code for a specific, they give you a specific link. The reason why I'm saying this is because that's a fraud that has been currently happening. Right?
Okay.
Where you get RFQs from government and it will say Department of Labor or Department of Home Affairs or Department of something, and it says a request for code for HB6550 solar panels, and they send it to everyone. Probably, yes. I don't know how they get our details from. Everyone, right? Then after you receive it, then you check whether or not you can supply it, because as an entrepreneur, or if you're like, we can do everything. Today solar panels, tomorrow nails, tomorrow hair, tomorrow tables, tomorrow chair, tomorrow medical supplies, whatever it is, we will do it. Right. And they're actually doubling down on our emotions because they know entrepreneurs want to make money in every way possible.
Correct, yes.
And then after receiving it, remember they give you a code. After giving you a code, that code is linked to a specific supplier that doesn't exist.
Okay.
So they create a website. That website, I'm telling you exactly how they do it.
Okay.
That's exactly how they do it. Okay. So they give you a code, right? Because of SEO. SEO, that keyword will be detected in their website. So the minute you say HO477GK inverter, solar panel, the first thing that pops out is that very same website.
Okay.
Then you click on the website, you find the panel with the exact description as the RFQ. Okay. You check the delivery exactly as the RFQ. You check the quality, the timing exactly as the RFQ. So in your head, you're like, I found a supplier. Yes. You contact the supplier would say, oh, perfect, yes. Oh, no, we have it. Quantity-wise, yeah. Okay, where do you want us to deliver it? You'll deliver it somewhere. Okay, no problem. Then they send you a quotation, 145,000 rands. Boom. They give it to you, like, man, I got a code for 145,000 rands. You take the code and you apply for the RFQ, right?
Right.
After applying for the RFQ with government, whatever department it is, then they say, oh, okay, we've approved your code within a day. I don't know which government, which department in South Africa works that fast. Within a day or two, I think that should be the first red flag. Within a day or two, we've accepted your code. And you forget that on the RFQ it tells you the processes that you must follow, right? The 80-20 split and all those things. And now, after that, they say, we will give you, you give you the RFQ, congratulations. Perfect, okay. Your money will be in your account as soon as our goods are delivered, right? You take the letter of intent, you run back to the supplier packs the material, takes them back to the department, and then they give you a delivery note that is signed by the receiver and that is signed by you, only to find out that process never existed from the RFQ. Everything was orchestrated by one person sitting in their backyard.
Wow.
That's how good they've become.
Wow. I didn't even know this.
No, trust me, they do. They orchestrated, I think, with internet, where SEO is concerned. We basically direct what you find when you search certain things. In my website, when you look for coaching, when you look for consulting, when you look for business intelligence, BI, data analytics, the first thing that will pop out, I made sure it's my company. That's how it works.
Yes.
So that's what they did. It's specific keywords. I remember when I was in UP and they were teaching us information security. I think it was information something. I can't remember that course. They were teaching us how to search on the internet. I didn't know at that time they were referring to SEO. They tell you that when you search, you can't say lights that will make me look good. It's going to search every single word on the internet and it will give you 10 billion results, not of what you search, no, of every single word that you actually were searching.
Oh, okay.
That's why when you search on the internet, you use similarly coding. Then you would say blue plus pilot plus billboard.
That's right.
That's exactly what you're gonna get.
That's right.
Right?
yes.
That's how it actually is supposed to search on the internet. I probably could be outdated. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these days they do it in a different way. But because of SEO, that's what you pick up. So it goes back to the internet searches that we do with our suppliers. Some people, like, trust me when I say thieves out there are good.
Yes, they know what they're doing.
Oh, no. They went to their PhD.
That's how they've trained on finding loopholes in what internal audit
Yes,
does.
which is why you should have
Yes.
the proper processes. So which means the only way to safeguard against anything that is external is to have
Safeguards.
your internal controls.
That's correct. Right, that's right.
What do you enjoy the most about your work?
Well, to be honest with you, the research in everything that I do, I enjoy that. It takes some time, but it gives me a lot of knowledge,
Okay.
and I enjoy that part of it, understanding new things all the time.
Yeah.
So that brings a lot of joy to me.
That's awesome. Okay, you love knowledge. You like a lot of research. So obviously the industry and times change. How do you make sure that in both procurement and internal control within IIA, we're kept upbeat with the times, the changing times?
I engage a lot with departments and individuals
Yeah.
as to what is happening. So that brings me, that keeps me up to date. I read a lot,
Yeah.
So that keeps me up to date with new trends.
Yeah.
Like you just informed me about that case.
Look
I'm
into
going to
it.
be researching that.
Look into it. If I can show you my spam box,
Yes.
I probably have 40, 30 emails in a week. With that RFQ. And also, fraud has timelines, right?
Yes.
It's like a market where we know at this time it spikes. And this is the time where it spikes
Where it
the
spikes.
most.
There's a lot of fraud. There's a lot of yes. Everybody's looking for December bonus.
Yes, even with companies, like you would receive a call. Hi, ma'am, we just wanted to let you know that something happened with your bank account. Can you please give us the last digit of something? Like, people do crazy stuff, hey?
Yes.
Or you get a proof of payment that shows that they paid you.
Right.
Proof of payment, only to find out they didn't pay you.
Yes, I've known that they more target individuals.
Yeah.
And I've been warning. Well, we on a regular, especially around December, have meetings, with discussions with staff about that. They kind of send you fake money.
True.
And then they want their money back, and when
True.
you send the money back, it's actually not money that actually came into your bank account. So yeah, we try and warn our staff about those issues.
Yeah.
Asking for your banking details. They're closing your bank account, so you need to log on to confirm that. We know all about that.
So are there any trainings that you conduct for staff? And if so, how often?
I do training with staff, but it more relates to my portfolio. So how to look at an invoice, what to look for on the invoice, and basically keep an eye out for anything that's suspicious.
Yeah.
Also making sure that every invoice goes to the budget, and the budget actually allows for that invoice, that purchase to take place. So that's the type of training I would do with the staff.
Okay. And with regards to your team, how many are you? Do you have a team?
Yeah, I'm an individual, but I do the cleaners report to me because of my history with them as an admin manager, maintaining the building and so on.
Yeah.
I continue with that to make sure the building is maintained.
Yeah.
But the position that I currently hold is supposed to be independent from finance, independent from all marketing and so on, because I hold a supervisory role to ensure that we're keeping to budgets, we're keeping to these to spending, all those type of things. So I'm a bit of a lonely guy.
Oh, that's so sad. Don't worry. Kabelo will work with you from now on.
I do work with Kabelo.
He better bring you coffee every day, and call you boss.
No, don't call me boss. It makes me feel old.
It's probably younger than your sons.
Yes.
So I think there's a lot of things that our members don't know, right? So
Okay.
every time when we look at IIA, we just see probably Aline working alone by herself. Some people, that's what they think. They don't think that there are so many people that are behind the scenes.
Yes, we've got to
that are
support
working.
Aline.
Yes.
And Aline's job is massive.
Yes.
I mean, she's got to ensure that everything runs. So what I don't know the next department is doing, Aline needs to know this.
Yes.
So we try and support Aline as much as we can.
Yeah.
You know, I really think Aline's got a big job and she's doing a good job.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, we're here. So
Yes.
that's that on its own. It says she's doing an amazing work. So in terms of building relationship with suppliers, do
Yes.
we have suppliers that we build relationships with? And there's something I didn't ask you with regards to procurement. How often do we renew the suppliers for different things that we have in the institution?
Okay, that is part of a project that I'm busy with at the
Okay.
moment. And that is the supplier,
The cleanup.
the
that we're
cleanup,
talking about,
yes.
Yeah.
Because I would renew a supplier every year. But we've had traditional suppliers for the last many, many years. And I don't know if they're charging more than other suppliers because they have the contract.
Yeah.
So that is part of the cleanup. And once I've completed with the cleanup, the contract will only last for 1 year. So you've got to renew every year.
Okay. So when you renew it again, three-code situation.
Three-code
we check whether or
situation.
not
That's correct, yes.
it's fit for purpose.
Yeah,
It
we
works out.
can use the same supplier,
Yeah.
but the supplier would have to be up to standard and sign our terms and conditions, and they've got to maintain a good relationship. Yeah, my part of my job is to also ensure there's a good relationship.
Okay.
Yes.
So ensuring the good relationship part comes in many ways.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, like you guys have a vending machine, right? They're like, here are 3 free Cokes.
No.
And a chocolate.
that would be the red flag why I'm looking for someone else.
But it does happen. It does happen while they offer gifts. Like, according to them, they are trying to establish a relationship with you, but in a way, they're bribing you.
Yes, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Being in the back room, basically, I don't have direct contact with them when they're delivering the Cokes, for example. But I would negotiate terms and conditions. So they can't really. They've got to bypass a lot of people to get to me.
Okay.
Because it would be under the admin function to get the vending machine in. It would be my job to make sure the vending machine is up to standard and the contractor does what he needs to do.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of impartiality in that.
Okay. This is great. This is actually great. I think it's always nice to know that the institution is doing what it's preaching.
That's correct, yes.
It's doing what it's preaching. So I can imagine procurement in specific season being a nightmare.
Oh, yes.
A nightmare. Especially when you have events that are coming up, big events that are coming up. There's a lot of things that needs to be purchased, bought. I mean, if we look at, hopefully we'll show you the pictures of the public sector conference, for example. There were tables that had, I'm speaking about this because I'm a girl, and I found it quite impressive. There were small trees with oranges on it. I'm like, was it lemons or orange? If you were there, correct me. You see?
Yes.
Now you're like, you need to get a supplier who's going to give you lemons. Sometimes you find different things from different people. Sometimes it's one company that can offer you everything. We don't know how that works. And then there are lemons. And when you observe the stage, the screen, every single thing, in your head you're thinking, shucks,
It's massive,
it's
yes.
a lot.
It is.
And
It
you
is
have
a
to
lot.
go through the codes and samples and all those things for that.
No, I'm a little bit wiser than that.
Okay.
We would get a supplier that
One.
could. Well, it depends what they do.
Okay.
So it might be 3 or 4 or 5 suppliers, but that supplier would then get suppliers.
Oh.
See, so
Hey, note to self. I better write them down. Don't try to find everyone. Just find one person. That person will find other people.
that's correct. So how it works is basically that supplier would then contact suppliers that will sell you lemons. Other one will sell you the plates, and so on and so on and so on. But the supplier that I'm engaging with,
It's that one.
it says quoted me for the event. But it doesn't mean that they might be the caterers.
Yes.
They might be the camera guys or the lighting guys. Whatever they need to do what I want them to do, they would quote on that. But I'm sure they wouldn't keep everything in stock. So they would have to engage with their suppliers.
IIA is coming. 2026, right?
Yes.
Yes. See? So already we have a lot of work to do. It's a lot of work. So because we have a lot of work to do for IIA, to make it worse, it's not even in Joburg.
No, it's not. It's in Cape
That
Town,
makes it
yes.
worse. So how do you plan on engaging with suppliers that side? Do you get that one supplier again?
Well, it's not going to be my responsibility, to be honest with you. It's more the marketing team.
Oh.
Okay, but the marketing team, when they get the suppliers, they have to follow the same process as
That
every.
you have... Okay.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So it no matter what is supplied to us, they have to follow the same procedures, the same red tape as you call it.
Red tape. In South Africa, we jump them. We jump the red tapes. All right. So overall, what's your overall vision of your role in the institute?
My vision is to bring all these little elements of policies and procurement back into line.
Yes.
And once that is done, maintaining it over a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And obviously, times change, years change. So updating and bring consistency and transparency to the organization.
Consistency, yeah.
That's right, yes. So yes, that's the aim that I'm aiming for in the next, I'm doing it now.
So before we actually wrap up, yes, we've come to the end.
Okay.
Before we wrap up, there are a few questions that I have. If you were to look at your 5-year-old self, what would you say?
5 years old.
Yeah, your 5-year-old of yourself. You. The 5-year-old you. What would you say?
I don't
I would
remember
say, girl, shut up. Like, keep quiet. Like, yo. I was a talkative child. And I was so
Okay.
opinionated. And I didn't know English, but I spoke it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I was a very and I still think I am. I'm a very introverted person,
Okay.
but very protective at the same time. So at 5 years old, I think I was the best child in the world.
So you wouldn't say anything to yourself?
No, I wouldn't. My parents always, used to just leave me, but my sister was the one that was always talkative and doing things. I was just
Sounds like me.
I was just a little teeny bopper, but I think I carry that through the years. Very introverted, but very meticulous and always guarding over what I'm responsible for.
What would you say to your teenage self?
Oh, that was a difficult period. Cabello understands.
He does.
No, my teenage years, I think I was a bit of a naughty bugger.
Even introverted.
Even introverted, I used to do a lot of sport.
Okay.
I love the school maths. I was fundi in maths and accounting.
Wow.
So yeah, that was my teenage years. When I also used to like to party. I mean,
People party in their 20-something because they're in university. You party at your teenage years.
I grew up with a lot of friends that were older than what I was, and they used to drag me along to everything. So I was partying.
I can't imagine you dancing.
No, I don't dance. I'm too serious for that.
What do you do when you go to parties? You just watch people.
I just have conversations, interact, network.
Okay. Well, at least you're not socially awkward.
No, I'm not socially awkward. I can adapt.
But I'm just imagining you're sitting at a party and people are dancing like, yay.
No, I'll go and talk to you.
Holding
Have a conversation.
Yeah, holding the tears of Caesar.
That's it.
Like, yay. So, what would you say to the 20 years old you?
So I got married very young. I got married at 23.
Oh, that was young.
Yeah, I was very young. I had to work myself up. I had to work. because now you've got a wife and a child, and responsibility is huge. And I think I've been successful in that time. So my 20s was very productive. Very productive.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were definitely productive. But did you ever think you would be here by then?
No, I didn't. You know, the truth is you focus on the next step all the time. And that's I've always been that way. So I grew up too fast.
Okay.
In a sense, you know. So by the time I was 35, I kind of reached where I wanted to be.
Oh.
Yes. So working at the IIA is I enjoy it because there's work and personal life ability, where my previous company was just work. So I enjoy the IIA very much.
If you were to change your career, what would you do?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've never thought about that.
I think I'd be an astronaut.
An astronaut?
I want to find out if aliens exist.
Oh.
So what best way than to go to space? Like, I'm tired of being told by
I think we
Americans.
must have a conversation offline.
About aliens.
Maybe we need to talk about aliens, yes.
Yeah. No, but there's no way the Americans are the only people that know aliens. Something must be wrong with us. Are we that technologically disadvantaged that we can't even see UFO when it's up there?
Actually, South Africa is quite advanced with technology compared to America. You know this.
So, is it the reason why they think they're aliens? Because most probably their technology, like their network has bugs. So,
but their network has been that way since the 70s.
I just find an interesting concept. It's an unknown, right?
Right.
And you keep saying it's there, it's there, it's there. And people are like, okay, what about those that think the earth is flat?
Prove it.
Like,
I've seen theories on Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and so on, but it doesn't really.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. They're talking about an ice wall.
And what?
An ice wall, a North Pole and South Pole.
Where are they?
So apparently the flat Earth theory is that in the North and South Pole there's this ice wall that we can't cross, and further to that, the Earth continues growing, or the Earth is further. The Earth is bigger in a flat world.
This is more crazier than aliens.
Yes, and I get what you're saying, but for me, you need to prove it, eh?
No, wait, that hurts my brain a bit. So we have the North Pole and the South Pole.
Yes.
And they think that beyond the North Pole and the South Pole, there's still Earth.
That's correct. It's a flat Earth.
Explain the moon and the sun.
Apparently, the moon and the sun stays stagnant, and the Earth. No, it's the other way around. They stagnant and the Earth moves around them.
In its flat structure.
In its flat structure.
So it moves like this.
Yes. Yeah, I've also been doing this conspiracy theory things like you are.
You know what? It's fine. It's okay. We accept it. It's fine. It's okay. Whatever it is, it's okay. But it's been fun. It's
Thank
been
you very
nice.
much.
I didn't know about the Earth growing beyond and above that. Like, what? Okay.
It's same with the aliens.
Okay, that's true, right? No, the thing is, I've watched Wild Wild West.
Ah, okay. So they look
Will
like
Smith is
us.
the one who made me think about it.
So they look like us.
They disguise themselves to look like. Oh, the Men in Black, not Wild Wild West. Oh my word, the Men in Black. Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah, the Men in Black. I watched it, even the latest, the new one with the girl where Will Smith is not featured in it. I don't know why, but yeah, I watched it. It was.
Okay, I haven't
It made me
seen
think
that
a lot
one.
about aliens. I'm like, do you really think that's how aliens look like? What if they are among us? You know when a
Interesting.
person just come from nowhere, like nowhere. What
Yeah.
if? What if?
But
What
it's
if they
a lot-
don't exist?
But that's the thing. What if could be anything?
Absolutely.
I mean, even the internal audit profession. What
Yes.
if is our that is what keeps us internal auditors? What if this is a situation?
That's true. I'm saying, what if we are aliens?
What if we are aliens? What if the fish in the sea thing looks at us and saying, "Yeah, we know you're not from here."
You're from somewhere.
Yes.
That's actually true. All right. Oh, wow. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming to our platform and sharing your insights and what you're doing in your work. And I think we appreciate hearing from Menko, particularly in IIA. There are a lot of things that auditors would like to know in terms of, do we have the right people? Can we trust IIA? You know, there's always, I know people from the outside are very easy to zoom into what's happening.
Yes.
And putting what IIA is doing on a public platform like this is actually great. Do you have any parting words, words of encouragement to anyone and everyone?
Well, just keep up the good work. Internal audit for life.
And keep supporting the good work.
And supporting the good work, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And parting words to, like, not just auditors, everyone in general?
What can I say? Everybody enjoy yourselves. December's coming up. I know everybody's already very tired. And I hope you have a great holiday. See you back in January.
Yes. Definitely see you back in January. By the way, December is my birthday month, so I do take gifts.
Indeed.
I do take gifts. I'll throw in hints on what I like. Don't give me a book about aliens. I'm not going to read it. So thank you so much for watching INbrief. It was such a lovely interview, I must say. It has been a minute. It has been a while, especially after the conference. Everybody's tired. But thank you so much for watching, for tuning in, and staying up until the end of the video. So just be guaranteed you will get that 1 hour CPD hour. And this is the time where you need to report your CPD hours. So make sure that you watch it until the end. Thank you for coming, Ulrich. It was such a lovely interview, definitely. We've learned so much about, there are a lot of things that I didn't know about procurement, especially from an IIA perspective. I mean, I could have audited for so many years, especially procurement, but you've shared so much insights and knowledge on what the function, particularly in an organization such as this one, is doing. And I'm pretty sure our competitors are watching. They're like, oh, that's how they do it. We are going to replicate it as well, because theirs are not on my public platform. Like, yeah, we are copying and pasting IIA. Because IIA is currently successful in what it's doing. So thank you so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget to click that notification bell. Don't forget to leave a comment. We want to know what you think. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Tell us, what do you think about this podcast? What should we change? Should we use a different language? Should I learn Mandarin and start saying "oh manchi"? You know, just tell us exactly what is it that you would like to see up next on this video. So thank you for watching and have a lovely festive season. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.